There's an old folk tale which you might have heard before. A young man spreads a rumour, a nasty rumour, about an old man who lives down the street from him. And a few days later, as the rumour is gathering steam, he's feeling really guilty about it. And he decides, he plucks up the courage, he's going to knock onto the old man's door and apologise. And that's what he does. He knocks on the old man's door and he says, listen, I feel really bad. I feel really bad about spreading this rumour about you. I'm so sorry. Will you forgive me? Is there anything I can do? And the old man looks at him with his kind old eyes and he says, yes. Yes, I can forgive you. And yes, there is something you can do. Have you got, perhaps, a spare feather pillow? And the young man thinks, that's what he wants. He wants me to give him a pillow, for sure. He says, yes, let me get it for you. The old man says, no. Go take the pillow, cut open one side and go empty it out into your garden. The young man looks at him very strange and he says, okay. And the old man says, when you've done that, go pick up the feathers, put them back into the pillow and bring it back to me. The young man says, yeah, no problem. So he does, he runs off back home, he goes back upstairs, finds this old feather pillow, he cuts it open, he empties it out of the bedroom window, he runs back downstairs into the garden and he picks up all the feathers he can find. He puts them back into the pillow and he brings this pillow back to the old man. And the old man lifts up the pillow and he says, it's half empty. What happened? And the young man says to the old man, I'm sorry, but the feathers, they all flew away. I picked up what I could find. Aha, precisely, says the old man. That's it. Our words, like feathers, get scattered everywhere. Remember that once your words are spoken, they can never be taken back. But does that mean that we need to be quiet the whole time? Does that mean we should be scared that because we're always going to say the wrong thing, so we should just be quiet? Shut up? Not at all. This week's parasha is primarily about clothes. Specifically, the clothes that the Cohens wore while they were working in the Mishkan. The regular Cohens, they had simple uniform. Just 4 items of clothing, no pockets so no one could accuse them of taking anything. Simple uniform. Plain. Simple. The Cohen Gadol, on the other hand, his uniform was so posh, it was so fancy, so colourful, majestic. It was made up of 8 different items of clothing, including this very famous 12-stone breastplate. 12 gemstones. What was that about? You see, it might have been majestic, but the Cohen Gadol had to remember that everything he had, his entire role, was not something to make him pompous, but he was representing the people. So this breastplate that he had on, it had the names, every single stone was Reuven, Shimon, Levi. It had another name of one of the tribes inscribed onto the stones. One of the clothes, one of these 8 clothes that the Cohen Gadol wore was called the Me'il, and it was a beautiful long turquoise tunic or robe. And the Talmud tells us that the various items of clothing that the Cohen Gadol had, they each had a different purpose and a different message for the Jewish people. So this Me'il, this robe, was to atone for Lashon Hara, for negative gossip and speech. And it had bells on the bottom. Bells on the bottom of this robe that when the Cohen Gadol walked, everybody could hear him walking. It made a loud noise. Now, we're not supposed to gossip unnecessarily. We're not allowed to be mean to each other. We're not allowed to say nasty things to people or behind their backs. So we have to ask ourselves, why these bells that made such a loud noise? Surely we should have something to remind us not to talk so much. And the answer, my friends, is that good speech does not mean keeping quiet. Keeping quiet is not always a good thing. It's not always productive. Avoiding speaking or refusing to speak up can be very unhelpful. The message of the bells is that we must talk to each other. And more importantly, we must learn to listen to each other. We must speak up. If someone's in trouble, speak up. And speak nicely to other people. Whether they're in trouble or not, speak nicely to other people. Be nice. Speak nice. Have a wonderful day.